If this is the first time watching one of my videos, you may have noticed that I reference The Simpsons a lot.
Keep firing! Convert the heathen!
This is for two reasons. First, The Simpsons have covered every possible topic. And also my brain has a lot of Simpsons in it. I watched it a lot during my formative years. My parents had a small TV in their bedroom, which is where me and my brothers would watch it. It had the best view of the driveway, so we could see if our parents were coming home, then we could quickly shut it off and run to do something else, and the TV in the living room could be seen from the streets. You see, as much as I love The Simpsons, we were not allowed to watch it. Growing up in a religious household, we had heard over and over again that The Simpsons was the breakdown of the family and was downright evil.
The Simpsons are more than popular today, but they're certainly not your average cute and cuddly cartoon characters. In fact, the subject matter, the content, and the language of The Simpsons cartoons is more than questionable, and parents should be concerned.
Well, let me tell you something. We are going to keep on trying to strengthen the American family, to make American families a lot more like the Waltons and a lot less like the Simpsons.
Bar, the boys are out in the front yard. They'll help me think of a plan to get those Simpsons.
So we hid, until one day I decided to take a stand. My parents were sitting in the living room reading or talking or whatever non-TV watchers do, and I sat down and turned on The Simpsons. Immediately, my dad asked me what I was doing. So I explained how The Simpsons was one of the only families on TV who regularly go to church, how they love each other and express it regularly, how they teach you valuable lessons, and the way people have been talking about it is just completely wrong.
And you remember Matthew 21:17.
And he left them and went out of the city into Bethany, and he lodged there?
Yeah. Think about it.
And it worked. We were allowed to watch The Simpsons. I was a hero. Until my dad walked in during this scene.
You maniacs! You blew it up! Damn you! Damn you all to hell!
He wasn't really into movies, and the tone of his voice made it clear I wasn't going to be able to explain to him why it was funny that he finally got the ending of Planet of the Apes while giving a press conference.
You maniacs! You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
I just had to take the hit, at least for a couple weeks.
Oh my God, I was wrong. It was Earth all along.
Thanks for watching, commenting, liking, and subscribing. I have all the social media links below, as well as the link to our Patreon. Come on over, join the party. We have fun there. Christians are told from a very young age, in a completely non-creepy way, to be careful what they see.
Careful little eyes, what you see. Oh, be careful little eyes, what you see.
We used to watch this Christian VHS series from Focus on the Family called McGee and Me. It was a show about a kid and his cartoon friend who learned lessons about Jesus or Christian life or whatever. For some reason, the one that stuck with me way too long was the one where he wanted to go to a horror movie, but his parents wouldn't let him.
Remember last year in Twilight of the Blood Freaks when he got those guys at the campfire?
Nah, I didn't see it. My folks wouldn't let me.
Man, they don't let you do anything.
Hey, that was a year ago. I'm a lot older now, all right?
So he did a Ferris Bueller to escape and see the movie with his friend.
Nicholas?
Who is it?
It's Mom. Are you all right? You sound tired.
I'm George.
Nicholas, it's Mom. What's going on in there?
More like Phyllis Bueller. I'm not proud of that. But he got to the movie and did not enjoy it, and then we all learned a valuable lesson about why it was important to be careful about what we watched.
Just by going to see it, you've put something into your mind to dirty it, to pollute it. It's bound to affect your life. It's garbage in, garbage out, Nicholas.
Which was all fine until they went after my turtles.
Using their hero or their guru, who is a rat named Splinter. You heard it here first, folks. A rat named Splinter is the hero of this cartoon. They have now begun to subtly introduce New Age philosophies and occultism and Eastern mystic beliefs to our kids.
I'm going to talk about the turtles.
Then as a Christian teen, the focus turns to the evil music you listen to.
How many of you plan to leave church tonight to go out and get drunk? How many of you are going to go out and shoot up with some heroin or smoke a joint?
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel?
If you're shocked by these questions, or if you think they're a little funny, Maybe you should take a close look at the music you've been listening to.
Oh, be careful, little ears, what you hear. There's a Father up above, and He's looking down in love. So be careful, little ears, what you hear.
Are you allowed to do that with a cross? One of the most famous examples, of course, being the Beatles when they compared their popularity to Jesus.
What'd you do? Screw up like the Beatles and say you were bigger than Jesus?
All the time. It was the title of our second album.
See, The Simpsons reference everything. I mean, that was a pretty popular thing. Yeah, shut up.
Not so reluctant to urge teenagers to throw away their treasured Beatles possessions was the Ku Klux Klan. With bonfires of books and records, this one was at Longview, Texas, they seized the opportunity to show their Christian zeal.
I'm gonna let that one speak to you however you need. And ever since then, youth group leaders have loved to encourage kids to break or burn their music.
Oh, my girlfriend Ann wants to have a Christian music bonfire here.
That sounds like some mild fun. I think we've got some Christmas music.
Oh, no. It's not a Christian music bonfire. It's a Christian music bonfire. You know, we burn all satanic music. The thing is, though, the only music I have is either instructional or humor.
I was kind of like George Michael. I had Christian music, and I had The Simpsons in the key of Springfield.
See my vest made from real gorilla chest.
Which I'm embarrassed to say, a youth group leader encouraged me to break. And I did. A decision I've regretted ever since.
Yes, you finally made a monkey out of me.
But I also fast-forwarded through a Marilyn Manson song in gym class. Which, I mean, now that we look back on it, we know he was a terrible person, but at the time, it didn't make me a popular kid. But why? Why are Christians so obsessed with censorship and calling everything evil and insisting they are separate from the rest of the world? You see, Christians use this phrase, guard your heart, which comes from Proverbs.
The Bible says, above all else, guard your heart. Guard your heart, because out of it comes the issues of life. It says it like this in one version, because everything you do flows from your heart.
You see, when the Bible was written, it was believed that we thought with our hearts. It's a good thing nobody's trying to use this book as a science textbook.
You can choose to believe that theory. It's a theory.
Or you can choose not to believe that dinosaurs lived among humans and the Earth is only 6,000 years old. Either way, Springboro School Board member Dr. Kelly Cole says creationism should at least be offered to students.
You need to start by guarding your mind. You are the air traffic controller of your mind. You decide what plane's gonna land, right? You decide what thought is gonna take residence in your mind, because all kinds of thoughts come to us all of the time. Often they're horrible thoughts, bad thoughts, good thoughts, wonderful thoughts. So you decide this is coming in, that isn't coming in.
And worldly media only has bad messages.
Advertisers promote the world's values, movies promote the world's values, TV, music promotes the world's values, celebrities promote the world's values. Everybody around, there's not anybody around you in the world who's actually encouraging you to do the right thing. They're saying you got to do what's best for you. Think of yourself. That's why when I wrote Purpose-Driven Life in the first sentence, it's not about you, is the most countercultural statement you could possibly be, because everything in this world says it's all about you. It's all about you.
I've seen a lot of movies and TV shows, and I'm really struggling to find any where the lesson is that it's all about you. I mean, maybe romantic comedies if you view the other romantic partner as like a prize to be won, which I guess a lot of them do.
That's crazy.
I mean, I've never met anyone else who likes fiction. That is too funny.
That is literally too funny.
But for the most part, that's just not true. Action movies are usually about saving other people. Comedies usually have some sort of lesson about friendship and getting through tough times together. Even survival movies like Castaway or 127 Hours, where you'd expect it to be about just one person trying to survive and make it all about them living, take time to show the importance of human connection and surviving for other people.
Well done! Well done!
It's almost like these people have no idea what they're talking about. But I digress. Guarding your heart or guarding your thoughts becomes about not letting messages from outside sources into your brain.
You cannot expect to think heavenly thoughts if you're filling your mind with the junk on the internet.
I don't have online, though.
What does that mean? You don't have online?
No.
You cannot expect to think heavenly thoughts if you're watching Hollywood dramas on television. You cannot expect to think heavenly thoughts if you're attracted by the latest production at the cinema.
We need to ask God whether we should be really watching it or not. If your spirit's not cringing by hearing a filthy curse word or hearing something filthy on TV or the Lord's name being taken in vain and you're not bothered by it, then we need to ask the Lord to purify our mind, our thoughts, and our heart so that we can just refocus and just keep running after Him. Okay? Cool? Good?
Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. For the Father up above is looking down in love. So be careful, little eyes, what you see.
Because when you are putting things in your head that don't glorify God or have eternal value, you allow yourself to think about sinful things like sex. And thinking about sex is as sinful as having sex.
Jesus said if you look on a woman with the thoughts of lust in your heart, you've committed adultery with her. So that's a virtual sin. If you have one of those games, I've never played a video game. I hate to tell you, that shows my age maybe.
I mean, we don't even look at porn on our computer anymore. We look at it on our phone.
Don't watch sex shows. Because do you want to be immoral? Do you want the results of an immoral life?
Hollywood's nothing but a glorified pimp who provides clientele for America, actors who'll take their clothes off and prostitute themselves for money. Do you think I'm right?
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, when you put it that way, yeah.
Watching people have sex.
Yes.
You look at a big window called a screen, he looks through a real window, but what's the difference between you and the guy who's peering through the window?
Say it with me. Consent. I mean, I don't know what sex ed is like in New Zealand, Ray, but if you think spying on people without their knowledge while they have sex is the same thing as watching actors pretend to have sex, you need to take a class about consent and why it matters.
Because sex is like boxing. If both people didn't fully agree to participate, one of them is committing a crime.
And maybe bring your friends from over at Wretched.
Do you stand at someone's window and watch them have sex? Whoa, pretty shocking question, right? That probably took you by surprise. Yet it didn't bother you last night when you were watching Game of Thrones or anything else with a gratuitous sex scene. Watching that is the same as if you were to pay someone to let you stand at their window and watch them have sex.
Wait. In this case, everyone is consenting. Also, I want to quickly acknowledge that they both have pretty awful views on sex workers.
Actors who'll take their clothes off and prostitute themselves for money.
You know those were Jesus' friends, right? They are also saying that not only will it cause you to have thought crimes or to be peeping toms, they are also saying that watching sin or listening to sin will make you sin.
Reasons on rock and roll music and why I preach against it, and I believe with all of my heart that it is a contributing factor to our juvenile delinquency of today.
Be careful, little eyes, what you see. Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. For the Father up above is looking down on you with love. Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see.
See, your mind feeds on them, and pretty soon your body is doing what your mind is saying.
So you see a sin, and then you do the sin, because TV Man did.
So television's responsible.
Here's kind of an interesting confession. I really got into Impractical Jokers. They made me, I'm guessing a decent amount of you have heard of them or watched them. The way they get out in public and do crazy stuff that goes against social norms and puts people in awkward situations, I love. But part of me, I've had to kind of take a step back because of how crude they get, how much cursing. They're okay with a decent amount of sexual innuendo. So for me, I'm not saying I'll never watch it again, but I've pulled back, and that's just a kind of personal thing with Impractical Jokers.
I didn't really know where to put this in this video, but Impractical Jokers may be one of the tamest shows on TV, and I just wanted to include how ridiculous that is.
Cranges McBasketball? Cranges McBasketball? Cranges McBasketball?
Is that your name? So it's not minor.
Miss McBasketball?
And of course, there's the devil and witchcraft.
Thunders! You're the devil?
It's always the one you least suspect.
God hates divination. God hates witchcraft, sorcery, as much as I suspect you hate seeing this apple rolling around in my open trap.
Every time a new book on Harry Potter comes out, the witches have to hire somebody to handle all the phone calls from the young people.
I would love to get a job at that call center.
Warlocks are enemies of God. And I don't care what kind of hero they are, they're an enemy of God. And had it been in the Old Testament, Harry Potter would have been put to death.
It does suck that J.K. Rowling turned out to be an awful person, and I wish Terse would just go away. But I was in Bible college when the first Harry Potter movie came out, and I saw it opening weekend.
You're a wizard, Harry.
I was in class the following Monday, and the professor asked if any of us saw it. Me and my friend raised our hands, and the professor asked us what we thought about the controversy. My friend replied with, "What controversy?" In his defense, he was a theater major and an idiot. The rest of us had heard over and over again why Harry Potter was the most evil thing to ever come after our children.
And Harry Potter and all his wizard friends went straight to hell for practicing witchcraft.
We hadn't seen all those articles about the Catholic Church for some reason.
Many Christians soak themselves in movies like Harry Potter and vampire sagas, movies that are centered around occult practices that God says are an abomination to him. Can Christians be entertained for hours on end by such movies without it impacting their spiritual lives? Without grieving the Holy Spirit and reducing the power and effectiveness of their Christian lives?
Little eyes, what you see. Oh, be careful, little eyes, what you see. There's a Father up above, and he's looking down in love. So be careful, little eyes, what you see.
A lot of Christians are really afraid of magic. Like adult people who believe magic is real and are afraid of things like Disney because of it.
But perhaps you're thinking, I would never let my children watch such a film. I only let my children watch the Disney classics. So let's back up and let's review some of those Disney classics. The story of Snow White includes witches, magic mirrors, sorcery, and spells. Cinderella, even in the opening scene, they tell you that it's an enchanting story about magic. The Bible is clear. No enchanter, no magic. Jasmine is supposed to marry the prince, but instead she falls in love with the thief. This also contains magic and sorcery.
Wait. Is his criticism that she married a thief? Someone so poor he stole bread to live? To him, is that worse than the magic?
And of course, Mickey is the sorcerer himself. The Bible is very clear. We are to have nothing to do with these things, period. In fact, the Bible describes these practices as an abomination to the Lord.
Don't get me wrong, there was a lot to criticize Disney movies for, like the racism, the portrayal of abusive relationships as something that can be changed through singing.
Do you realize what you could have done?
Stop!
Or again, a fundamental misunderstanding of consent. But I think Disney is getting better.
I could kiss you! I could. I mean, I'd like to. May I? May we? Wait, what?
We may.
But evangelicals would rather freak out because a mouse had a magic wand, or also because Disney sometimes acknowledges that gay people exist.
She wanted to write about a bisexual character, so she really pushed Disney to allow the character. Luckily, my stubbornness paid off. This is her talking again, and now I am very supported by current Disney leadership. She said, Terrace has gotten lots of positive feedback from viewers. Many are thanking her for representing the LGBTQ+ community and wishing they had a show like The Owl House when they were children, which is exactly the opposite of what we need.
A group called 1 Million Moms is in fact calling for a boycott of the film, calling one scene dangerous. What is it? Well, Bonnie, Woody's new child, is dropped off at kindergarten, and in the background, 2 women are shown dropping off another kid. And later, they pick her up and give her a hug. I know, can you believe it? I'm at a loss for words.
Okay, so here's the thing. You don't have to watch every movie or TV show that comes out, or listen to every album that comes out, or play every video game. And there are also perfectly valid reasons to call out media for the way they handle portrayals of marginalized groups or talk about marginalized groups.
Jill McCarthy, Teresa Nussbaum, Sally Baker, Big Alice, this Korean, that Korean, and Lizzie Gray again.
I made love to a man with movies.
or for just being terrible.
Did I ever tell you Todd is an atheist?
Oh, what?
Oh, God.
Have a great time, guys.
No, how could there be a Grand Canyon if God didn't exist?
But the thing is, the way it was approached in the evangelical circles I was in, or the ones I can see online, was based more on fear of the outside world.
I'll send help if I make it.
You don't want to find your own little hatch?
A way to make yourself look like the better or more holy person. Just like those annoying people who brag about not having a TV.
And remember when Flavor Flav had that reality show?
I don't own a TV.
We see you watching Netflix on your phone. It reinforces the us versus them and the in the world but not of the world narrative. It helps to reestablish the subculture, to make you feel special for being in this in-group that makes you see the world the right way by avoiding dangerous stuff.
I am honestly very leery of dating guys who watch Game of Thrones.
We're going there. We're going.
Okay, no hard feelings, but I hate you. Not joking. Bye.
But it can be so inconsistent. Magic is bad if Disney and Harry Potter do it, but super cool in Narnia because Aslan is the cat Jesus.
Do not cite the deep magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written.
Violence is bad unless it's against Jesus, or has David A.R. White in it.
Hey, Scotty. Jesus, man.
There's also the problem of information control. Some churches and Christian institutions outright ban certain media, or all non-Christian media, or even some Christian media if it doesn't meet their standards.
You can't go to see that itchy and scratchy movie ever!
For most of the evangelical world, though, it's more about self-policing, with strong social pressure and guilt.
I personally just do not believe that a born-again, spirit-filled follower of Jesus can sit there and listen to music like that, like Cardi B or Billie Eilish or people like that, or lyrics like that, and have zero conviction and be okay with it.
Either way, information control is a great way to keep people in the fold. When you see something in a movie that makes you question things about the way you see the world, it can open a door for more questions. But if you've been told over and over again that you shouldn't watch that stuff, you will either avoid that movie altogether, or you'll feel guilty for having watched it and decide that it was the devil trying to tempt you, and you'll double down.
Satan cannot force you, if you're a Christian, Satan cannot force you to do anything. The only way he can influence and control your life is by suggestion. And when he puts those suggestions in your mind, we call that temptation. So he can't force you to do anything, but he can suggest. And when you don't learn how to control your mind, you don't learn how to manage your mind, make your mind mine, then you're going to let that stuff in.
Also, it makes it so you don't get any references.
You've seriously never heard of Leonardo DiCaprio?
No.
He's the guy from Titanic.
No.
Very famous movie about the sinking of the Titanic.
No.
National tragedy. The ship that sank.
Ships being...
I guess my homework assignment for today is to listen to an artist that you once thought was evil, but haven't given another chance. Or watch a movie you wanted to when you were a kid, but weren't allowed. Or, just be grateful that you're allowed to watch whatever you want now. Or, if you were so lucky, be grateful if you've never had these arbitrary rules. Thanks for watching. If you know someone who might benefit from this, send it their way. And have a wonderful day. Love you.
Work, 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 Sky Moon.